And we're back, folks, right here on WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking the June 15th, 2020 edition of Raw Talk, as it aired last night immediately after Raw on the WWE Network. In addition to the regular two hosts, Charlie Caruso and Samoa Joe, we had not 3 but 4 special guests, including WWE Champion Drew McIntyre and 24/7 Champion R-Truth, who were saved for the end to talk about what happened on Raw with them. We also heard from Big Show, who returned on Raw earlier in the evening. Yay. And Charlotte Flair, who we saw backstage on Raw with her father, Ric Flair. I will say, in addition to the last 2 episodes of Raw Talk, the show isn't really must-see the same way that Talking Smack was. It's a fine way to spend 25 minutes, really, if you have nothing else to do. Because anything newsworthy that comes out of this episode, you'll probably hear about either on the WWE YouTube channel that pulls, highlights from the show and puts them on the channel, or you'll see it on Twitter or whatever. I mean, the show is good. The banter between Samoa Joe and Charlie is fine. It's not nearly as being on the level of the banter between Renee Young and Daniel Bryan years ago on Talking Smack. But it's fine. And I think on this episode, we got some, newsworthy moments as far as Raw Talk is concerned. When it comes to Big Show addressing Randy Orton, maybe teasing a future match, Charlotte Flair went off on the Raw Women's Division fans, specifically the fans, among others, which I'll get to soon enough. And McIntyre and Truth, who weren't really on for a long time, addressed what happened on Raw earlier on in the evening. So they first show, before anything else, the aftermath of the Randy Orton attack on Christian at the end of Raw. Now, I liked what they did with Christian and Orton in the main event, quote-unquote, of Raw on Monday. It wasn't a full-fledged match. I wasn't really expecting that. And when the show was like 10:55, you knew it wasn't going to last very long anyway. As soon as Ric Flair came out, I kind of expected he would do something heinous, and that's exactly what he did. Low-blowing Christian, allowing Orton to punt him in the head before picking up the pinfall victory over Christian. I assume Christian is not, in fact, medically cleared, unfortunately. He was very heavily protected. It was a low blow, which they never actually connect with for the most part. And then the punt kick clearly did not connect with Christian's head. So it was a very well-done angle to get him back in the ring without actually getting him back in the ring, which I honestly appreciate. Honestly, it's better than nothing, because the guy retired unceremoniously 6 years ago when he suffered a concussion and was not medically cleared to compete ever again after that. So that sucked. So it was cool to see him back on this show in a prominent role. We saw Orton. I mean, I already saw this video on the WWE YouTube channel earlier on this morning, but they tacked it on to the beginning of Raw Talk, where you just see Christian getting, gurneyed out, stretchered out of the arena on a gurney, and Orton talking trash, but also showing some, what's the word I'm looking for? Not compassion, but like, he looked concerned for Christian's well-being, saying, oh, you shouldn't have come back, blaming Christian. Like, Orton is really firing in all cylinders right now, and even taking the greatest match ever bullshit and making the most of it, along with Edge himself, going into Backlash on Sunday. He's done amazing work all 2020 long, and this has been no exception. I thought the Christian stuff on Monday was great. Definitely check out that clip, too. I thought it was really well done, how Orton was like, oh, this is all your fault, but hopefully, your kids are okay. They'll be fine with you coming home in a stretcher, blah, 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 with a neck brace. And now you'll be with Edge, back at home on a stretcher, recuperating because I just beat the shit out of you. So I thought the whole thing was great. Check out that clip. If you don't want to watch Raw Talk for it, it's also on the WWE YouTube channel as a WWE Network exclusive. So we then see Big Show pop up here on Raw Talk, talking about the Christian situation. Because I guess, actually he did, I remember now, I completely forgot. But Big Show showed up earlier on, or after Raw, I think. It was after he returned on Raw, because he's been gone since, well, I was going to say since January, but he actually popped up technically at WrestleMania. Not even technically, he did. It was at WrestleMania. They didn't show it until like the night after on Raw, or like a week later or something, when he was shown challenging Drew McIntyre to a WWE title match, impromptu title match, and thankfully he lost. I can only imagine what would happen had he won. It was a well-done angle. I mean, it really pissed me off because Big Show really has no business going for the WWE title in 2020, and I don't care how he was a heel when he did it, or how, he was even saying like, oh, I don't know, it was a really dumb thing. I could see what they were going for, and knowing WWE and how they can do the dumb things at certain times. I bought into the possibility of Big Show becoming champion on that night. So anyway, putting that aside, we haven't really seen him in a regular role on Raw in a while. He did show up earlier this year, back in January, to team with, who was it, Owens and Samoa Joe against Rollins and I think AOP. I think there was a fourth guy. Maybe it was like Owens, Joe, and I don't remember. I think it was an 8-man tag team match, wasn't it? It was like, not elimination style, it was that fist fight or whatever the fuck they called it. And Rollins and, I want to say AOP, but I'm not sure if it was AOP. I think it was Rollins. I thought it was Rollins, Murphy, and AOP. But I don't remember who the fourth member, Aleister Black maybe? Or Rey Mysterio? I don't remember. But they had that fist fight. He showed up for that. He put over the heel squad, and then we didn't see him again after that until the night after WrestleMania. But he kind of called out Orton here. And he said he has never seen Orton this successful or this sadistic, but he is not scared of Randy Orton, and God forbid we get another Big Show Randy Orton feud, match, what have you. We got it after WrestleMania 29, we got it later on that year in 2013 at Survivor Series, in one of the worst pay-per-view main events I have ever seen. When Big Show challenged Orton for the championship, thank God I did not go to that show. In Boston at Survivor Series 2013. Easily one of the worst pay-per-views I have seen in my 12 years as a fan. At least the shows since I've been a fan for. Since 2008. That was one of the worst. Specifically for that main event. So I really hope this is not leading to a Big Show Orton feud. Listen, if it's a one-off Raw match next week, okay. And then Big Show puts over Orton to, further make him a more sadistic, vicious heel, whatever. I'm fine with that. It was at Extreme Rules, the exact same pay-per-view. 7 years ago, they had their first feud, and Orton won. He beat him at Survivor Series. They had a match on SmackDown a couple of years ago. I think it was like a World Cup qualifying match for fucking Crown Jewel or some shit, like 2 years ago. That wasn't a good match either. They just don't have good chemistry, really at all. They also feuded briefly back in 2012. I have no desire to see that feud ever again. No thank you. Big Show turning face for the fucking upteenth time. He was good here on Raw Talk. I just have no desire to see him on Raw in a regular role at all. He talked about the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders who he initially interacted with on Raw this week, and saying that they're beating around the bush when it comes to the competitive contests they've been involved in lately and ninja shit, which was completely terrible. Saying they just got to fight it out, duke it out for the Raw Tag Team titles, which Big Show proposed, and it will indeed happen next week on Raw. Profits, Raiders, Raw Tag Team titles on the line. He also thinks that we will be seeing more of that Big Ninja. Now, I honestly, not going to lie, I didn't know they had that guy under contract, so whoever's portraying the Ninja is in NXT. He's signed to WWE, he's at the Performance Center, whatever. It's not Babatunde. Babatunde is not... I don't know. I don't think he's black. I'm not exactly sure, but that definitely was not Babatunde. It's another dude they have there at the Performance Center. Honestly, because there's not many people that are that big. I know they kind of made him bigger than he actually is because he was standing next to Akira Tozawa, who isn't all that tall. I honestly thought it was Shaq. I don't know why Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal would agree to do something that dumb. And maybe they could always pull a bait and switch and kind of retcon and say it was Shaq. And I hate to even say this, but and the reason I bring that up is because Big Show is kind of teasing something about him and the Big Ninja at some point. I have no desire to see that at all. But maybe the guy takes off his mask and it is Shaq. Now, the guy that we saw on Raw and at, what was it? Backlash on Sunday. It's been 2 days and I already forgot. But, maybe they could say it was Shaquille O'Neal in retrospect, even though it wasn't. Maybe that could give us the long-awaited Big Show Shaq match. In 2020, I really don't have much of a desire to see that match. They kind of dropped the ball on it 10 years ago. And again, a couple of years ago at WrestleMania 33, Shaq pulled out, whatever. I honestly am saying that half-jokingly. I do think there's a chance that's where this could be going because of how Big Show specifically name-dropped him here on Raw Talk. I really hope that's him just joking around and we're not getting anything more with the Big Ninja bullshit. But there's a chance that could indeed happen. So we also plugged the Big Show show, of course, airing on Netflix now. I've only caught the first episode or two. It's exactly what you would expect. I'll probably watch the rest of the season just to say that I did and review it here for the channel. Not episode by episode, but merely all of Season 1 on Netflix. And he did say some breaking news of sorts, which I've heard no one report because I'm sure no one really cares. But Big Show did say here on the show that another episode of the Big Show is dropping in August. Now, I don't know, maybe he meant filming or like a whole new season. It can't be a second season already. I mean, that's only 2 months from now. I've heard nothing about a second season of the show. I have no idea how well it's doing. It was in like the top 10 for Netflix a couple of months ago, but that was like the first week it came out. I don't know if it's like a special episode or like a reunion episode of the show. I have no idea. I know there's only like 8 episodes on Netflix. Maybe it's a surprise 9th one. Not a surprise anymore, but some news there. We then hear from Charlotte Flair, who talks about being criticized for always being in the title picture, which she is. That's a fact. If she's not in the Raw Championship picture, she's in the NXT Championship picture. If she's not in the NXT Championship picture, she's in the SmackDown Women's Championship picture. It's a fact. Charlotte is never not in a championship title scene. The WWE Women's Tag Team title she won for late last year when she wasn't vying for the Raw Women's title. The thing is, that's not her fault. I really don't get the Charlotte hate because she's not bad. She's not bad. If anything, she's great. She's had great matches. Her promos aren't amazing. They have gotten repetitive. It's really how she's been booked. It's not an issue with Charlotte herself, a lot like with Roman Reigns. I have nothing against Roman. It's not a Nia Jax situation where she's not safe in the ring. Nia Jax is just flat out terrible. Charlotte is a great character, an even better wrestler, a good talker. It's no issue with Charlotte herself. It's really how she's portrayed on the show, because the company has never booked a single meaningful non-championship feud with Charlotte ever. Whether it be on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever. She has always got to be in the fucking title picture, and I don't agree with that. She really doesn't. John Cena, for as much shit as he got for always being in the championship picture, he had some quality feuds that were outside of the championship picture quite a bit. He feuded with Nexus. He feuded with Batista at one point back in 2008. He had some really, really good matches with a number of people. I'm trying to think. Obviously, The Rock. The first match wasn't for a WWE title, and it was a great feud. He feuded with Brock Lesnar, not over the WWE title back in 2012 it was. So anyway, Charlotte, aside from the Trish feud last summer, she hasn't had many great non-championship feuds, matches or whatever. Maybe a few here and there on TV, not many that come to mind, to be honest with you. But that's not her fault, though. She does say that she's the hardest worker in the company, which obviously you would expect her to say. On a show like this, she's a fucking heel, so I would expect nothing else, But she is right when she says that she never misses time. She's always doing media, even for shows that she's not on. She's like the go-to woman for media for Fox. And she's not even on SmackDown. So what does that tell you, she has specifically an issue with not only the fans that criticize her, again, she brings up a great point. She is never hurt, and she never misses time. The only 2 times I think I remember her missing time away from the ring, were I think she missed time early on in her NXT stint, years and years and years ago. I don't know if she even missed time, she just wasn't in the ring. She missed a couple months in the summer of 2017, because Ric Flair obviously had that health scare. And then 2 years ago, I think she had like a ruptured implant or something in the summer of 2018. And even then, she wasn't gone for like more than a month. So I think last year she was gone. She was off TV for maybe a month or 2. There was nothing wrong with her. She wasn't hurt, I don't think. They just had nothing for her creatively. Again, I think they could do more with Charlotte outside of the championship picture. That Trish feud is a great example. She doesn't always have to be vying for a freaking title. So anyway, I completely understand where she's coming from here, though. I'm sure some of this was legitimate. Some, like, why she doesn't really get... She's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. She said it here on the show, and I completely agree. She said that she specifically has an issue with not only her detractors, but people like Nia Jax and Sasha Banks, who were gone for a while and came back and got title shots. Nia Jax, yes, in storyline, she won the... it's a different issue for me, because, yeah, she won the Triple Threat number 1 contenders match about a month ago on Raw to vie for that Raw Women's Championship at Backlash. But Nia Jax sucks. To be quite honest with you, I'd much rather... people are going to hate to hear this, but I would much rather, maybe not a lot of people, much rather see Charlotte in that title picture over Nia Jax any day of the week. Give me Asuka and Charlotte part 25 over Asuka and Nia Jax any day of the week. Now, Asuka and Nia work well together, but Nia is fucking terrible. She injures people. She's not safe. She's terrible. She's terrible. She's not even a good character. She sucks on the mic. She sucks in the ring. She's not a good character. Get her the hell off my TV. But Charlotte's right. Nia's gone for a year. They immediately plug her right back into the title picture. Now, from a storyline standpoint, it kind of makes sense because she's been gone for so long. And it's a feud that makes sense. And, whatever. I get it. I get it. It doesn't really, it bothers me because she's terrible. But, they need fresh feuds. Her and Asuka really isn't a fresh feud, but it's someone else to kind of play with, whatever. Sasha, I kind of understand a bit more because Nia was hurt. She didn't really have much of a choice. Sasha went home on her own accord. Yeah, it was a mental health thing, and she deserved to have that time off. But then why immediately bring her back when she not walked out on the company, but by all accounts, she took time off on her own. And she was saying how, I shouldn't be here, blah, 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 and I need to go, and she was gone for 6 months. And then they bring her back and give her a title shot. So I know there was a lot more to the story there. She talked about it on Chronicle. I get it. From a storyline standpoint and in real life, I completely get it. I'm sure her and Sasha are close friends, or good friends at least. Maybe not as close as her and Becky are. Charlotte and Becky, that is. Or even Charlotte and Bayley. I'm sure Charlotte and Sasha are not going out and hanging out every day of the week. But I get it. Sasha was gone for a while, and then she comes back. She's always hurt. Sasha they could be doing far more with, but she's constantly getting hurt. Like, a lot. And then they continue to give her title shots. Or at least she got a title shot when she first came back about, last summer. Despite walking out on WWE for 4 or 5 months. Mental health issues or not. She was gone for a while, came back, and immediately got a title shot. So I completely get it. And Sasha, or rather Charlotte here, when she was talking about that, was not wrong. She even said, I'm owed a title match because I beat Asuka twice. And she's right. She beat her by countout a couple of weeks ago. She beat her last week in the Raw main event. Now, when they play up this narrative that she's never beaten, that Asuka's never beaten her, that's a straight up lie. Yeah, she's beaten Asuka 9 times out of 10 at WrestleMania, on SmackDown. They've had a number of matches. Charlotte has won pretty much every single one of them. Asuka's won maybe one by DQ. She did pin Charlotte, in November. The footage is on their own YouTube channel. So that's clearly a lie when they say, I've never lost to Asuka. That's a straight up lie, because she has. But other than that, it does make sense to do Charlotte and Asuka. I assume they will get to that probably at SummerSlam. That's my guess. But she wants to be the GOAT. She wants to be the greatest of all time. And she says, hey, listen, entitled, I'm not entitled. Entitled, rather, is sitting your ass at home. And, you can debate that if you will, but she made a lot of great points here on Raw Talk. I'm not the biggest Charlotte Flair fan, but she makes a lot of great points. She is absolutely overexposed. I will not deny that for a single fucking second. But she made a lot of great points here on Raw Talk that people should pay attention to. Real quickly, we also saw McIntyre and Truth. McIntyre made it clear, I want no more favors from R-Truth, because R-Truth, remember, put voluntarily, had McIntyre put the WWE title on the line in that tag team match on Raw. Even though McIntyre technically retained when R-Truth won for their team, he still did a favor in putting that championship on the line without consulting with McIntyre first, which is a no-no. So he mentioned that. McIntyre also teased a match with John Cena, because Truth was, he brought up how, I think they asked him, who would win in a match between you and your childhood hero, John Cena? And before he could give an answer, McIntyre popped in and said, I've never had a match one-on-one with John, why not? I think they were involved in a 4-way together on Raw, like Cena's last TV match in January of 2018. It was either that or that was a fatal 4-way. They were also involved in a 6-man tag team match the week before that. And I think the Cena injury that he was sidelined with in storyline that kept him out of the Rumble last year was credited to Drew McIntyre putting Cena in an ankle lock on Raw that same night in that 6-man tag team match. And they never went back to it, which disappointed me, because I think that could be a great feud match, whatever. And hopefully we do get it at some point, but I thought that was newsworthy. That was it, though. That was it for Raw Talk, June 15th, 2020. Check out the Charlotte rant. Honestly, I thought it was really great. And what we need to see more of from her on Raw, not this, I'm the queen, and the repetitive fucking promos. If we see more of the passion that we saw from her on Raw Talk, she's money. She's great. She's a 5-tool player. She's great in the ring. She's a good character. If she can get more promos like this on TV, she's golden. She already is golden because she's held freaking 12 titles at this point, but oh well. The Christian Orton footage is good. That's on their YouTube channel. The Big Show stuff was fine. The McIntyre R-Truth stuff, it was funny and not really must-see. But check out the Charlotte rant. That was pretty good. And that's going to do it, guys, for my review of Raw Talk for June 15th, 2020. Check it out right now on the WWE Network. And thank you guys, as always, for checking out these videos. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Hit that little bell notification button as well to be notified every time a new video goes up here on the channel. Also, be sure to check out the description box for the linking to all the other Raw Talk reviews I've done. Not many, only 2 other ones, obviously, because the show is relatively new. But all the new Raw Talk reviews will be uploaded and put there as well. So if you've ever missed a Raw Talk review, they're all there to binge watch for your viewing, listening pleasure, whatever. So anyway, guys, I'll be back tomorrow here on the channel with the latest episode of #AskGSM. Until then, have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Graham GSM Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.